Today we're going to be looking at meetings and note takers and the recording of meetings, and Debbie's going to help us with that. There's quite a few tools. And you know, if you're a good accountant, normally after a meeting, it should always be followed up with an email. There should be minutes, there should be action points, usually. And that's the thing that we do send to our clients, and we let them know, that we are still doing what we're meant to be doing, and that it is followed up in writing with what we need to do. So there's some good tools available, and here to help us along and take us along is Debbie. So Debbie, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. So let's be interactive. Put your cameras on, and then Brandon can have a look and see who needs to be put in the queue for questions. Questions are welcome. Stop at any time. If you can't hear me, let me know, and I can always speak up or bring my mic a little closer. Just let me know. So I'm going to go into the presentation, and let me know as we go along. So we're going to be doing two topics. One which is called Fathom. This is not Fathom as in the analytics. This is Fathom as in note taker. And then you got Fathom as in Otter. So you got Otter. These are the two note takers that I use. And I'm going to go through them with you just to give you an idea of what the two differences are. And then what you'll see here is going through them. I've given you a screenshot of when you go to it, you can see how Otter is actually spelt. Fathom is spelled. It is very different, and it has the little logo of the triangles. So you know it's a very different Fathom. And what this particular product does is it allows you to do an awful lot of recording, and you can make notes while you're recording. And the best thing is that you can actually get a video of what's happening on your screen. Before we go there, what can you do? You can actually interact this with your Zoom, your Google meetings, and your Microsoft Teams automatically. So when you have these meetings, they actually upload automatically. Some of them will ask for permissions to be granted access to the meetings. If people aren't happy with you recording, they will decline it. And then you know where you stand. Then you don't use Fathom. But if you feel you still want to be able to take at least the transcript, that's where the second one will come in. So you're not doing visuals. So you need to always be respecting people's privacy and their personal space. What can we do? And this is the magic that you have in Fathom is you've got different types of summaries. So you can extract things in terms of a chronological order. So as the meeting actually unravels, it'll give it to you in terms of the timestamps. It'll give you a heading and a brief outline, and you can go exactly to that point in the recording for what you want. So if you're looking for the detail, you can go there. It's not a problem. It'll also show you the recording, the visual recording. Whatever you have on your screen will be recorded, and if you happen to be in the frame, you'll be on the recording. If any participant is speaking, they will be in the frame. What we will do is we're going to go through just a few options just to show you how the different summaries come back to you. So you've got a few options, and what's so nice about it is that it helps you understand what you want at the end of the day. So here are the three that I've done. I put them next to each other. So the first one is the chronological one, which is in order. So I actually did the one which is your one, Brandon, if you don't mind. This is the AI for accountants. So there's no proprietary there. It's all about what we do. And you can see what it's done. It's talking about note-taking tools and capacities. It's talking about what we've done in terms of 3 minutes, at 7 minutes, at 12 minutes. Then when you go to the middle screen, it gives you what is called a general. And that is often what you would use when it comes to minutes of a meeting, a formal meeting. What you want to do is you want to have a purpose of your meeting. You want to have your key takeaways. It'll go further down to do topics. It'll even give you your action plans. It'll even tell you who is actually allocated to do those action plans. And that's incredible because often when you have a meeting, you don't always remember, who put their hand up that they were going to do something. This remembers it and it helps to remind you. The other one I pulled out for you, which is called a sales. And this is often very good if you're in, excuse me, if you are doing an onboarding interview with a client, and later on you want to be able to sell your services because the client is fairly happy with what he's receiving and he's saying, put a proposal together for me. Use this information to help you get there. And you can see this is the exact same meeting, but it's all presented in a very different format. And it's using language that is actually correct for every format as well. It doesn't necessarily change your language, it just groups it better. And that's what I find is such a beautiful tool about there. You'll see that there are functions such as transcript and ask Fathom. The ask Fathom is the AI feature. You've also got copy summary. So copy summary will allow you to take it and put it into a Word document, OneNote, email, whatever you want. You can do that. I have done that. What I do is once I've done the copy, I always kill the link. Because if you don't keep the links, people go onto it. It's like a hyperlink, but it doesn't go anywhere, and then people get irritated with it. So I just cut the links, and then you just get a clean document. So what do you get? You get a video or audio of your screen. So this was showing your actual screen that you've got. So you'll see that we've actually got the screen that Brandon had. And then on the right-hand side, it had the people that were actually participating at the time. That's a snapshot that it takes. So and what you'll see is you've got a time bar. And in your time bar, you've got a time bar over here. And if you go along there, you'll actually be able to cut into the meeting at any given time. And that's the amazing part. Next part here is you've got Ask Fathom. And in Ask Your Fathom, you can see it's very much like a chat. It's asking you and inviting you to ask questions, but it's relative to the transcript. It doesn't go outside of the transcript. And that's insightful because sometimes you'll say, I would like to know what was said about X topic. And it'll pull everything out on those topics and it'll pull out all the timestamps as well. So you can get the actual wording. Now, let's take this into another situation. Say you are speaking with a client who is feeling a little aggrieved by your services, and you've recorded this meeting. And this client then starts to do the vent. But they go so fast, there's no ways that you can write and capture all of the vent. After the meeting, you can come back to it, and then you can actually highlight and pull out what all those key points are. Because what are they? Those are points for improvement in the practice. And effectively, you can then write back to your client and say, thank you so much for highlighting those points. We weren't aware of them. And these are the actions and steps that we're going to take going forward. Or what you could be saying is, we have taken those points on board. We have taken action. However, you haven't followed up, etc. But you've also got word for word. So you've got actual verbatim wording. So if a client comes back and says, I did not say that, you've got it. You can actually take it and send it to them. But remember, you need permission first. Don't just do things just blind. So what you'll see on the side here is it tells you who the attendants are. It says what you can do. You can send this recording, if you wish, to the people that are in the meeting as well. You can copy things. You've also got all the action plans. And then at the bottom, every time there's a question asked, it lists every single solitary question. You'll just see at the bottom, it says they're your questions. And it says, can you hear us? That was the first question. As it goes down, every single question is there. And that's quite insightful as well, because sometimes you go, oh, hang on, I'm sure I asked something like that, and you can go along and find it. The next one here is just if you were interested, you have a free version, you have a premier version, you have a team version, and then you have a business version. So if you were interested, try it on a free version, nothing to lose, give it a go, and you can see what you would actually get for those. And as you power up, like every other app, you get more and more features. So in terms of mine, I just have the premium one, and that allows me to get whatever I need. I have no restrictions. I can do what I want. I don't need business because I don't have a big practice. But if I take, for example, John's got many people in his organization. He may want to have people on the business. It's going to work for him then. Let's go to Otter. So Otter for me is an application that I'm almost married to this thing. It goes everywhere with me. So it says you can record basically Otter every single meeting that you want. What can you do with this? It's on your PC, yes, but guess what? You can also put it on your phone. You go offsite, you could still record a meeting. Now that is really nice. And that's the part that I really like. There's something else you can do that's a little bit on the side, and that is if you do audiobooks and you say, oh, this is an amazing book, but I just don't always capture everything and your hands don't write fast enough and you're tired of pausing every time with the audiobook, you record it. And then from there, you can actually extract what you want from the transcript. So just remember, you can't sell it, but you can use it in-house for yourself. So what can you get in terms of Otter? So what you have again is I've stayed with the AI for accountants, and I put in here, what is it? So every 10 seconds, if someone actually approves your login, every 10 seconds, you will actually get a snapshot of what is actually on the screen. And that can be quite helpful. It's not a video, they're just still pictures, and that can be very helpful. So for example, when we had that one session where someone was taking us through an Excel spreadsheet, I think it was you, Brandon. If you had logged on and said, yes, I could do it, every 10 seconds, I would have had a screenshot of what you were doing. It's because every time it changes, it takes a picture. And it's quite nice to be able to go back and just have a look at those screens. You can blow them up and do what you want with them. Here again, you get an outline, an action plan, etc. So you can see what you want. You can also share it. But on the right-hand side, you'll see I've put there something called, this is where the magic happens. So in Otter AI, they've gone one step further than Fathom AI. They were doing AI long before the others. So you can absolutely tear this particular transcript to shreds through the AI chatbot, but it also does something else. It does sometimes go outside of the transcript and pulling data from outside, especially if you're doing something continuously. So if you're doing, say, for example, you're in a course and you are recording each course as you go along, module 1, module 2, module 3, it keeps a memory of all of those transcripts and it'll actually start to pull in that information. So when you're asking the question, if you're specific about this transcript, it'll tell you it's not in this transcript, but I have got it in another transcript for you. And it'll tell you which transcript. And that is helpful as well, because sometimes we get a little bit overwhelmed with all this data and the meetings that we have. What can we do? Well, I can label who's talking. So in this case, I could label Brandon. So B for Brandon. So every time Brandon spoke, up he pops. I've got his name. I can pull out exactly what Brandon says in that particular session, which is very good. Down the bottom, you see there's an audio timeline. So if you've ever worked in any type of recording, you've always got a timeline, and you like to have timelines because you know where you're at. And you can also use this because timelines help you when it comes to overlaying if you want to do a video of some sort. As I say, on the right-hand side, there's the responses to the questions in the chat. So what you'll see is at the top there, I said, how can Copilot simplify VLOOKUP in Excel? That was the question I asked because that was the presentation. And there's the answer, because that's what Brandon was advising us. Brandon, was it on cue?
Yeah, it looks right. Completely right.
Does it sound like you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so you're not going to get 100%, but you will get at least 85 to 90% there. The only challenge that all the note takers have around the world is how to take down your name. So names are a challenge, and sometimes accents get in the way of how words are presented. So once something happens, you can actually go in and you can do an edit function. So you'll see in the screen, we actually have an edit button here. When you're finished with your recording, you can go back into the transcript and you can actually edit words. You can do the same in Fathom as well. So you can get the correct spellings of items. Why do you want to do that? Next time you have a meeting with the same people or a similar subject, it will now spell it correctly going forward. So it's also learning. And that's the beauty of that part. Now what do we have? Oh boy, now you really get to the magic. And this is, once you've done all of this, now you can export it and you can pop it in to absolutely any LLM. And this is really magic. I love this part because now what you can do, especially if you are working in a chat or a Claude and you've got your project folders, you've got defined topics. Now you take your recording on that defined topic and you add it in. If you're using the memory, if you're on a paid LLM and you're utilizing the memory, it brings your memory in from the recording and it helps to build up your database. So now you're training your LLM to be rich on your data. And that's where your uniqueness comes. So depending on what you're searching, how you're researching, how you're developing you and your team will help to define what your LLM as well, because it will respond accordingly as well. Just for if you were interested, here are the different prices. Again, they have a free version. So they'll give you a short exit, 300 minutes. And believe me, 300 minutes just goes like that. You get out of free very, very quickly because it doesn't take long to use 300 minutes. You can use the Pro version. Pro version only gives you, the short limitation is of the hour and a half per minute, per meeting. And that can be a little bit stop-start, especially if you are recording, say you're actually doing a virtual meeting, a virtual training, and it happens to be a 2-hour training and you want to record the content. Now all of a sudden you've got 15 minutes and you've got to go back in again. Now you don't have a complete content. Now you've got to add things together. If you go to the business, you get 4 hours. It used to be 9 hours. They've dropped it to 4 hours. And I think it's merely because of cost of tokens and data storage, because everyone's using it. You just can't get so much on. But there is one thing. All your recordings are available all the time. They don't, so far, neither Otter nor Fathom have purged any recordings. So if you think of where you are on Zoom, you get to Zoom and you get a certain amount of capacity in Zoom. You hit the limit and they charge you $1.50 for every gigabyte that you go over, especially when you go into the 30 gigabyte. And, you know, you might think, well, $1.50 is not expensive, but believe me, you go from paying the $10, don't forget to add the VAT now, so it's your $10 for your storage, and then they add $1.50. Before you know it, you've gone from paying, what, less than 200 Rand storage to 500 Rand, because all your Zoom recordings are still building up and you haven't deleted them. Now you can't keep your Zoom recordings forever. So what do? You can't keep them in the cloud. So you think, okay, well, then I'll go and store them on my desktop. Then you think to yourself, now what about disaster management? What happens if I need to retain them? Now you're having to pay for storage again in the cloud because now you've got a different cloud. The Zoom one is expensive when it comes to data storage. So although you have the full presentation, you don't necessarily have the full functionality going forward. So that's it. So I'm saying give it a try. Enjoy the time saver and enhance the memory, which is absolutely fantastic. There's my details. If you'd just want to take a screenshot, that's who I am. And what I would like to do now is actually just go into the actual Otter itself with you, and then you can actually see what it is that I'm talking about. Let me see if I can get it right this time. Am I in the Otter?
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, super. Okay, so what you're seeing here is this is the particular item. What you also have is you have folders. So you can actually create your own folders for ease of reference. You have a home feature where everything gets dumped. You have your chats, or there's a whole lot of things that you can do here. You can do your direct messaging, what you want to do, which is really quite incredible. Let's go into this particular one. So this is the overview, the actions, the outlines that you actually have. These are the pictures. You can download them at any time. And it's really fascinating what you have. And you can just scroll through them and decide which ones you want. So that was a question that we had. Brandon, give me a question that you would like me to maybe just pop in here for you just on your last meeting.
Let's see, how is Copilot assisting accountants within the Microsoft suite?
How is Copilot assisting?
Sorry, I said Copilot and it opened up my Copilot chat.
Sorry. Okay, so a very simple question. Pop that in. And you can see I made a mistake. I said Microsofting suite. So let's see what it says. You'll see it also doesn't take long. It tells you how long it takes. Brandon, how does that sound in compared to what you were actually telling us?
Sure, this can do it faster than I can think.
So this is one very interesting item that you can do. So let's just think of something else here. All right, so what I'm going to ask here now is extract more detail on the cleaning and formatting of data. I'm just using some of what you got there. Okay, so what I am going to show is, you see I have a spelling mistake. I also have something that I am linked to automatically. And you can see there's like a little green guy. It's like a circle and a little robotic item in the middle there. So I have got my system automatically linked to something that will correct my spelling all the time. And that is very helpful if you are online. It's called Quillbot. And Quillbot, it will link automatically to any platform that is online. And if you've got the pro version, you can actually ask it to rearrange your questions, rearrange what you want to write. It can be creative. If you've got a specific way of doing something, it'll pick that up as well. Okay, there you go. Splitting data into the one column, standardizing it, handling the dirty data, and filing and missing and incorrect information. Now, this is phenomenal what you've got.
Yes.
So what I would like to do here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to export this. Oopsie. Oops. Looks like I did something else. Hang 10. Hang 10. I don't know where I am at the moment. Sorry, guys, I've lost you.
We can still see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can get to my Otter. Let me see where my Otter is. Okay, in my Otter. All right, let me stop sharing so I can get to the functionality. I'm going to do an export for you of this particular item, and then I'm going to import it into ChatGPT. Okay. So let me share and go to where my chat is. Are you seeing my chat?
Not yet. Yes, okay, we can see it now.
So what I'm going to do is, here is my text file. And it is not very big. So that whole session that you did was all of 32 KBs. That's it. So that transfers into that. You do want to convert it into a TX file. We pop it in there. Now what we can do is, I'm going to put the mic on, and Brandon, you ask it a question and see what it says.
What was the best use case for Copilot in this recording?
Okay, there's your prompt. Let's see what it says. So it's telling you where it's referring to. We've got all that information. So now you're getting a chat version of what you were saying. Does that sound familiar to you, what you were saying?
No, absolutely.
Okay, so now what you could also do is in this, you could say, for example, extract this summary into a format for my co-accountants and write in Canvas. So you can see it's very much easy English, nothing complicated about it. You've explained to people what Canvas means, but I'm going to help people who haven't actually been on the session that you did chat. So Canvas is a separate little, it's almost like an external page within chat itself. And it writes everything on there. And all you do is when it's finished, you just press copy. So down here, you pop it's still writing. When it's finished, it says all set. All you do is you go back up to the top. And now you copy it and you can paste it onto anything that you want. If you don't like it and you say, oh, you know what, this is a bit, it doesn't explain anything. So what you can say is, so you want to continue to say in Canvas, I would like you to expand on these points for an accountant who finds this concept, okay, in fact, I should keep that there, concept challenging, and would like to know how to start. Again, I'm connected. You'll see the little red dot. Pop that in. It says I've got 3 errors. Pop that in. What do you want to do? Thank you very much. I'll fix everything. Thank you. Pop that in. It's also got recommendations if you want to write something different. And hey, presto.
So what is this thing that you have there, this green icon with that robot on it? I haven't seen that one before.
Okay, this is called Quillbot.
Oh, it's at Quillbot. Okay.
Yeah, it's Quillbot. Now, in Quillbot, you can actually also link onto your phone, and it will help you with your WhatsApps and whatever you have on your phone. It'll help you with your spelling. It'll help you with your grammar, etc., which is also very good. So here we go. So now we've taken exactly the same information, and it's saying it's writing everything as I've asked for it to be easier for someone who doesn't know. So it'll break it down for you. Again, you can then copy it, download, etc. This thing lives with me. Okay, so I am on it, and I'll tell you, there it is. It's on my system. So here it is. So there's my order. It's on all the time, and it's right next to where my chat is. So I do whatever I want. I can export on my phone, a transcript on my phone, and stick it into chat. And I can do what I want with it from there. And then if you've got your Office, your 365 Office suite on your phone as well, you can put that in and link that into whatever you want to do on your suite. You should be able to do the same on your Teams, because my team is on my phone.
As I said, this is what we do to help each other out. We're not pushing or promoting any products or selling to you any products. We don't get any commissions from it. So it's
nothing.
just stuff. Yeah, it's just stuff that we use, and we're showing you, some of the use cases for it so that you can use it too. So thanks once again. Just a reminder, we'll be back again on the 27th, same time, same place as in Teams, and we'll see you all then. Thanks so much. Thanks so much again, Debbie, for giving our insights on note-taking, and we really do appreciate it. And we'll see you all again on the 27th. Goodbye.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.